just overall thoughts on the upcoming trip?
Yeah, it's gonna be a good trip. You know, two challenging duels, and we're looking forward to them.
It's a big announcement yesterday. National duels going to be in Tulsa, all those things. Can you talk a little bit about, I guess, how it all came together?
I think just trying to. I mean, I think college wrestling, maybe has become a little bit stagnant. I think just injecting a little bit of life and excitement. I think this is an event that I think programs and fans can get really excited about, and it's an invitational in the beginning of the season. It's early. It's give people to put on their calendar. You can now schedule how you want to around it, and I think it's going to be something that can be a part of really growing our sport. I think we got to continue to be creative in ways that we can do that.
Was that something that Richardson kind of pushed for, or did you go to him, or how did that kind of come together with the partnership?
I just think just trying to create. Chad's a guy that really wants the sport of wrestling to push forward and be better, and Paycom being a sponsor of the event is great, and it's a way that we can help support a lot of programs. We as in him. It's not obviously it's his he's making a very successful event. So each program will get $20,000 to be able to travel and come, and then prize money for the top 8 teams. I think that's something that coaches, athletic directors, wrestlers are going to be really excited to be a part of. And then the way the money can be split up, the coaches can decide how they want to do that, and how they want to take that money, if they want to put it in their foundation, if they want to focus on NIL. There's a lot of needs in college wrestling right now, and just being creative in how we can grow wrestling and create exciting events, and how we can just move things forward.
Have you heard from other coaches? Is there an excitement among other programs for the event? Have you heard anything?
I think people are really excited about it. I just think it's gonna be a great event. Getting a date out ahead of time. Knowing November 15th, 16th is a thing. I already got people saying, "Hey, I booked hotels. I'm ready to come down and watch." And I think by July 15th, the teams will be finalized with the roster, and the idea is to get the top 16 teams, projected for 2026 in the event, and just gonna be really competitive matches. And I think duels are very exciting. You get to the best to come to Tulsa and wrestle. It's a place we are familiar with. The Nationals was there recently in the BOK Center, so I think it's gonna be a great event.
Were you there at Nationals a couple years ago?
I wasn't there that year.
Okay, so you're not too familiar with the event. Have you worked with or talked with, I guess, the people there and their ideas for it?
Yeah, I'm not involved into that level. Just Oklahoma State is going to be there in the invitational, and but I know there's a lot of people that are working to work on all those details, and it's going to be pretty good.
So I think one specific person, a lot of people have heard different opinions on this national duel format, is your former coach, Kel Sanderson. Have you spoke with him at all about it? Do you kind of have a general idea what he wants to do with it, or if he's going to participate?
I think the national duels. I think there was the idea of the national duels at one time determining the national champion, and that's not what this is. This is just an invitational. This is just, hey, let's just show up and let's just wrestle. I think that's what this is, and it's an invitational. Everyone's allowed to come. Top 16 teams are allowed to come. The national tournament is decided in March with individuals, so that's not being moved from that. This has nothing to do with that. This is national tournaments in March. It's just an invitational at the end of the year. Teams can get 4 matches, and we get to wrestle and get an opportunity to help out our programs. I think we just, as coaches, we get a chance to make an impact on the sport. Try and grow wrestling, move things forward, get people excited. Get butts in seats. I think that's the idea. So I don't know who's going to be there or not, and we just hope that it's a great event. Everybody's there.
In other sports like golf, NASCAR, they're one, like the Masters is the first big golf event. Daytona is the first big NASCAR event. I've always kind of felt like wrestling didn't have that specific thing to kick off the season. It just kind of random duels start happening and open tournaments and stuff like that. Is that a little bit of the idea with the early date at all, to kind of have some big event that says, hey, wrestling is here?
I think so. I mean, it's just the date that you can think about a date and you can have analysis by paralysis, and then you'll just never have one. So I think it's like, hey, we gotta get a date on paper, and this one makes sense. I mean, everyone kicks off their season in November. We're all wrestling dual meets this year. We're at Utah Valley, Oregon State, beginning of the year. So I think everyone pretty much has their wrestle offs in early November, or if you want to go hit an event or two and get a couple matches, and then you go wrestle. And that's all it is. This is wrestling. We're just trying to go and compete. And I think now it's something that now everyone can know. Hey, there's some marquee events that we can plan our year around. We can go watch this event. We can watch our favorite school compete against our other favorite schools, and we can focus then again on March, the national tournament. And I think it only drives excitement to the duels that are in our venues. I think this only drives that. It's just, it's more storylines that can be marketed, and that's just wrestling. Like we have a lot of cool things that we can talk about. So these events and however the duels shake out. Well, now when you go wrestle that a team go wrestle Iowa State later in the year. If we wrestle them in the national duels and we go wrestle Iowa State, well, now there's just more excitement, more storylines that can be driven to the next thing, more opportunities for people to want to come and support your program. So I think it's definitely something for the better for our sport, and excited to be a part of that.
For you and Oklahoma State in particular, how will this impact your preseason or your early season scheduling?
Well, I think the idea of doing it in November, it's before the conference schedule start for everybody. I think the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big 12, the conference events, the conference duels are a little bit later in the year. So now you get a chance to kind of figure it out. You get a schedule, and every coach has a different priority in how they want to schedule and what match count they want to be at. I'd like our guys to get a little more matches going in the national tournament. And that's this will be a good start to that. And now we can start having conversations of how we can fill our other dates. Knowing this is set.
Talk about things, growing the sport and all those things. You guys are on ESPN this weekend. How much does that mean for I don't know, the wrestlers, you, everybody else, the sport?
I mean, it's pretty exciting. This is the second duel I think ever that's been on ESPN flagship. So ESPN's obviously it's a premier network. So to get the opportunity to compete there is pretty awesome. And it's just, I think wrestling is an amazing sport. As a sport, we can do a better job of telling our stories and getting an opportunity to wrestle in front of more audiences. That's a good thing. So excited for them to give the opportunity to us to go out and compete this weekend.
David, with revenue sharing becoming a real thing, obviously in the near future, how do you go about managing that and just processing it all as that, I guess, nears?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the idea, there was a time when it's just like, hey, here's your scholarships, and this is, that we've evolved past that, and we got to think about ways, as a head coach, you got to think of ways that you can generate revenue and excitement for your program. It does matter. There's not a single coach out there that can say, I don't need the revenue, I don't want to generate revenue, and I don't need the resources. Everybody needs that. The national duels is an opportunity to do that. I think the more times we get our athletes a chance to wrestle, the better that is. But yeah, in terms of generating revenue, that's our home events are really valuable. Places, wrestling here in Gallagher, and being able to fill it up and be able to. The support that we've had from our fans this year has been amazing. Our students has been amazing, and we got one match left in Missouri, and we just want to create a great environment. And but that stuff's on the horizon, and it's real. And as coaches, we got to do the best that we can to help our program the best that we can.
Is there anything specific you're going to look for out of Plot with his next match with Kekheisen?
Yeah, I just got to go out and compete. He's obviously had a lot of history with them, and he knows what to expect. I thought I did a good job in Vegas, in parts of that match. He got his bell rung really big in the first, early in the match. He got bell rung pretty good. I think he was a little bit out of it, and then obviously just was able to kind of figure some things out. So yeah, I mean, Parker's very good. He's going to come after him, and there's going to be a lot of scoring exchanges. It's going to be a great match, and I know Dustin's looking forward to go out and competing.
There's a lot of ranked matchups this weekend. Is there any wrestler in particular that you're going to keep a close eye on and kind of wonder how his weekend is going to go?
All 10 of them. Excited for all of them to go out and compete. It's not you know, we don't pick and choose who we're excited about. We're excited for all of them. You know, every one of them, it's an opportunity to go out and wrestle conference opponents and build your lead and build your reputation. And you know, we're going to see these guys again. So, you know, we want to leave them with that mentality, like, hey, I want to wrestle us again. You know, but that's on them. You know, on our guys, and we got to go out and just wrestle with an attitude and score some points.
Do you know what your plan is for 133 on the trip?
Both guys are coming. You know, both guys are ready to wrestle. You know, and we'll see how that, you know, works itself out this weekend.
How soon, just from a looking ahead standpoint, do you have to kind of pick a guy and just go with it there?
I think we're trying to balance, you know, both guys' match counts, but at the same time, we're, you know, we've got to pick our best guy, you know, at the national tournament, or, you know, getting ready for the national tournament, conference tournament. So, you know, we have some time to make that decision, and you know, both guys are working really hard. Both guys are doing a great job when they get the opportunity to go out and wrestle. So, you know, we'll just kind of see how that continues to play out.
What is it like between them, just in the room, knowing that, you know, they both know that only one of them gets to wrestle, and they're probably competing with each other every day? And
I think the competition is good for both of them. I think they're both pushing each other to get better. You know, I think, you know, the other day, you know, Kale was wrestling, and Reese was kind of, you know, dapping him up and, you know, telling him good job. You know, I think there's an element of our team. Like, we want our team to go out and wrestle well, and you know, that's the tough thing. You got 40 guys in your team, only 10 guys get to wrestle. You know, so, you know, it's a competitive weight class. We feel really good about both those guys.
Just going back to the national duels, you know, you obviously you made that tweet last week, but did you ever really figure out why they went away from it in the first place?
I just think that I think, you know, that was a little before my time. You know, I remember we never really were a part of it when I was in school. I think it's when you're, I think the timing of it. I think timing of it's hard. You know, I think doing timing of it again in the middle of the season, and the logistics and the travel, you know, balancing around. I think as conference schedules have now kind of been pushed, sounds like they're going to be pushed to, you know, middle of January towards the end of February. It gives you a little bit more time, and again, it's just, there are other events that are happening, you know, in that time period. You know, so now it's a good opportunity to host this event. I think it can be a great event. You know, and I think the timing works out really good. We just got to go wrestle.
One of the aspects about the event that pundits and head coaches have really praised is the way they incentivize it, especially the, you know, $20,000 just for participating. What do you think about the manner in which they incentivize it, and how can that help with marketing the sport?
I just think that, you know, just new eyeballs, new things to get people excited about, you know. But yeah, I think it alleviates the travel burden. You know, hey, here's $20,000, and, you know, get a chance if you can travel for less than that, and then it's an opportunity right there that you can make some money for your program, and you get to go compete. There's incentive for your guys to compete. There's incentive for teams to put out their best team, you know, because, you know, they get a chance. There's a financial opportunity there. So, yeah, I think it's, we talked about this a little bit earlier. It's just an opportunity to, you know, to grow the sport of wrestling. You know, I just think there's an element of also, you know, you see this a lot in college wrestling where guys, you know, maybe don't want to wrestle certain opponents. Well, when you know there's a bigger cause there for something like that, you know, gives kids a little more incentive to want to wrestle. And yeah, I just think it's going to be a pretty good event.
How have you seen Troy respond after rough last week?
Yeah, Troy's good. You know, we met yesterday, and I think there's some things that, you know, just notice. I think that's, you know, we talk about the season. The season is a little bit of trial and error. You're trying to figure out, you know, what I eat, what I drink, how do I warm up. You know, all those things are part of that. You know, when I was a competitor, I remember going back and being like, all right, well, you cater your warm up differently. I did this, I felt really good. I did this, I felt really tired. I ate this, I felt great. I ate this, I didn't feel good. You know, I think there's an element that, you know, we look at this, and you got to remember they're still kids. You know, they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna maybe eat something they maybe shouldn't have eaten. They maybe stay up too late. You know, all those things. You know, maybe they warmed up a little too early. So, you know, everyone's going through those things, and you know, Troy's working through it. He's got a good plan, and I think regardless of it, you know, we want guys making mistakes. You know, hey, you made a couple mistakes. Okay, no big deal. You know, helps us actually. Now we got some things we can help you with and work on it maybe a little more specifically. So, you know, he's excited to get back on the mat this weekend, but you know, it's no big deal.
You got a lot of good teams on the schedule from here to the end of the regular season, but it's kind of light in terms of just the number of matches. I know you came in late. I don't know how much impact you were able to make on the schedule. Is this what you would ideally like it to be not a whole bunch of stuff ramping up to conference and nationals.
I mean, we still are pretty busy, but yeah, a lot of the stuff was out of my control this year. It was pretty set in stone. So now, obviously, next year, already looking at our calendar next year and trying to kind of lay it out. There's always a lot of moving pieces there. It's not as easy as just, hey, this is where we want to wrestle, and this is what we're going to do. I think next year it sounds like the conference, we're going to have more conference matches in this time of the season next year. It's going to be, kind of blocked out and scheduled. So, but yeah, we just want to create a good plan for our guys to be national champs in March.